there's no news today. So what I want to do is, I guess, react to some of the comments that I've been receiving as of late. Now, typically I don't do this because I don't have the time to really typically do this. But today I'm going to, because there's no other video to make for you guys. Look, there's people in my comment section that say, hey, you're all wrong about Ann Taylor. And my response is, do you have any experience with public defenders or the courts? If your answer is no, then you need to shut the fuck up. If your answer isn't that you're a public defender, work in the courts, or that you yourself have been through the system, then you need to shut the fuck up. Because at the end of the day, you sitting there with your Cheetos and your snack cakes on the couch, sitting there watching crime TV or whatever the fuck it is you do, you sitting there doing all of that does not make you experienced at anything. Because what you see on mainstream media and what you see on television is nothing like what it is in real life. A public defender's job is not to win the case. They're not paid off winning the case. A paid lawyer is who is paid to win the case. And the more cases a paid lawyer loses, the more it affects his ability to get a future job. Because most lawyers' reputations are off word of mouth of people that have paid for said lawyer. Ann Taylor, just like any other public defender, works for the exact same people that's trying to prosecute you. That is why it's called the state versus Bryan Kohberger. Ann Taylor works for the state. The judge works for the state. The prosecutor works for the state. It's not that hard to understand. A public defender's job is not to win the case. It is simply to give an indigent, poor, broke motherfucker representation. Now, here's another thing I keep hearing. Bryan Kohberger is such a genius and blah, blah, blah. You think he's letting Ann Taylor do all this for him? The answer is yes. And by the way, who said Bryan Kohberger was a genius? He's going for his PhD. All that means is that he went to school longer than you. It doesn't take a genius to just stay in school. All it does is take someone with perseverance and the ability to read and function under an educational setting. That's it. That's it. That's all it takes. Someone can go to school for 30 years. It doesn't mean that they're any more of a genius. It means that technically they could have more of an education, but that has nothing to do with IQ. That has nothing to do with actual overall the way your brain functions. Because especially in today's world, where majority of colleges is nothing but woke indoctrination centers. So someone saying, I went to college. Now, by the way, I'm someone with 3 college degrees. And you know how much those college degrees mean? Not shit. Not shit. Because I was smarter before I went to college, to be honest. All college did was teach me about it taught me specific skills that I don't even necessarily use in real life. Majority of you don't. You people sitting there with dumbass liberal arts degrees, what the fuck do you know? You people with dumbass business degrees, how many businesses you run? How many businesses you own? Even funnier is that just because someone was studying criminal justice, you think that that means that somehow they know how to escape all the confines and all the blockades that's put in the criminal justice system. That's not true. Because ultimately, Bryan Kohberger is still broke. His parents clearly are not willing to help him, and that's a problem. Bryan Kohberger cannot pick his own attorney. That's not the way this works. You are appointed a public defender, dummies. You don't get to select your public defender. If you ever have been to court, they will ask you, can you provide an attorney of your own? Can you provide an attorney of your own, or do you need the court to appoint you a public defender? Indigent people typically say, I need the court to provide me a public defender. And so what happens? the court provides you a public defender. You don't get to just shuffle through public defenders, especially if you're on a death penalty case and there's only one or two motherfuckers that can even take the case. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying to you at all? He doesn't have an option. He has to stick with Ann Taylor at this point, unless he gets a paid attorney. He has no real other options unless they do a change of venue. And then maybe in a different setting, he can pick a new public defender. But as of right now, he doesn't have that option unless he gets a paid attorney. So, let me say this real quick. To you people, and especially Lori or whoever you were in the chat room, listen, I'm not going to pander to you. I don't give a fuck. I didn't invite none of you people here, and so I'm definitely not going to beg you to stay. And no, I'm not going to not disagree with you just because you're a YouTube audience member. I don't give a shit. If you don't put money in my pocket or suck my dick, why would I overly give a fuck what you got to say to me? Why would I overly give a fuck about pandering to you? I don't even pander to the people that do pay me and that do suck my dick. I'm just being honest. So let me say this. To you gooey fingers motherfuckers that think that because you watch too much court TV or 48 hours or YouTube true crime channels, that somehow you know more than people that's actually been through the system. To you people that think you know, to you people that are pro-public defenders, would you put your life on the line in the hands of a public defender? If your answer is yes, you'd probably be a dead motherfucker. But every single one of us that has been through this, and I've been broke before, I've had a public defender before, and I've had high-paid lawyers before. And I know which cases I lost, and I know which cases I won. And every single one that I lost was because I signed a plea bargain, because that's what a public defender has you do. Lawyers go for the win. Public defenders go to solve the case, the plea bargain. Ann Taylor is currently making like $8,000 a week off this case. Her job is to push this case out as long as she can, so she can keep getting your tax dollars. It's not my fault you're too stupid to see that. If you cannot see clearly that Ann Taylor is procrastinating on a regular basis so she can keep collecting that $8,000, that's why she says. That's why Ann Taylor's the one that says, we are not going to be ready by summer of 2025. If we left it to Ann Taylor, this trial would not happen until 2026. But the judge sees the bullshit and he's like, hey. And you keep saying, well, Brian Kohlberger's smart. He'd get rid of Ann Taylor. No, he wouldn't, because he can't without a paid lawyer. You're just too stupid to see it. You people that watched all this goddamn TV, you think you know some shit. But the truth of this is, you're as inexperienced as a baby. Your little lungs is too small to hot box with God. Trust me, this isn't your realm. You don't know shit about what you're talking about. I do. You can either take that to the bank, you can either take that and believe that, or don't. But don't sit here and argue with me about some shit you don't know shit about, dummy.